Hi my angels, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a look that I posted on my Instagram quite a few weeks ago now. It was for the launch of the Urban Decay and Kristen Leanne palette. Well, actually the full collection. And I actually went down in London and I wore her palette on the day. And I got so many compliments like throughout the day when I had it on that I had to do a look for you guys. And also you guys were asking for it as well on Instagram. I'm going to show you the picture right now. It is actually this look right here. I've got some shadows on my face from when we went to lunch. But yeah, this is the look that I'm going to be doing. It's very, very, very wearable, but it's got a pop of green in there. And green isn't really an eyeshadow color that I wear a lot, but I love the way that this turned out. So instead of just doing my eyes, I thought I would do a full-on updated skincare slash foundation routine video because I have swapped some products out and I've been using a lot of different things recently. Obviously my concealer is still the same because I seriously can't put that down, but I thought I would just update you on that as well. So first thing is first, I'm going to pop a serum on, and this is the Kiehl's Powerful Strength Line Reducing Concentrate. I love this stuff. It's really improved the like fine lines of my skin, and I just love what it's done to my skin over time. I started using this in like the end of November last year and I cannot put it down. So I'm putting that on first. And then for moisturizer, I'm putting some of the Moisture Surge on. This is from Clinique. They've actually brought a new version of this out, which gives you extra hydration. And I love this under my base because it keeps my skin really, really moisturized without it feeling really heavy. And because I like to layer products on my face, I need to make sure, especially when I'm going for full glam, that I've got thin layers of things on my face because I don't want to feel like I've got like really thick layers of things going on. So skin is nice and prepped, and the next step that I've been doing quite a lot, I'm going to show you 3 products that I've been using. So one of them is the By Terry CC Serum. This just gives me an overall like bronze to my skin. And then there are 2 primers that I kind of switch in and out of. One of them being the YSL primer. This is like the blurring primer, I believe. Yeah, this is the Touche Éclat blurring primer, and I've been using this for years. This is actually a new bottle because my other one was quite old and I'd like almost finished it. So I cracked open a new one. But if I'm not using that, then I'm actually using my NYX Honey Dew Me Up primer. Today I'm going to use this because it's really, really weird. It's kind of sticky almost, but again, it's a very, very thin layer. So I shove this on these usual areas of my face. So it's quite stringy, but I try to get this like all over. And because it is really, really thin to work with, it just kind of like glides on top of my skin. And I just love the way that this kind of sits as well. I do let that sit on my skin. I totally forgot to put this on first, but it's okay. We're going to put this on next. This is the CC Serum by Terry. I'm just going to get about 2 squirts of that onto my fingers. It looks really shimmery, but by the time you put it on to your face and like blend everything in, it just gives a really nice like sun-kissed glow. And as you can see, it just kind of looks like I've been in the sun, and it just looks like my skin is just looking really nice and fresh and healthy. So that's the whole kind of like skincare-y kind of stuff that I do, and the priming. And then I kind of let this sit for a bit. Usually I'm faffing around trying to find all my makeup, but the next thing I do is I move on to foundation. I always put my foundation on with my beauty blender. This hasn't changed, but there's a mixture of 3 foundations that I've been kind of like dabbling in and out of, and they are the MAC Studio Fix Fluid. This is in the shade NC30. I think I could go down to an NC25, but once I've done my highlighting and concealing and all of that, it kind of just all evens out. The L'Oreal Infallible Pro Glow Foundation. This is in the shade 205. And then also the Maybelline Superstay Foundation. I know this doesn't, for me, photograph like really well because it kind of gives me a bit of a flashback, but I love the texture and coverage of this. So I'm actually just going to mix all 3 of these on the back of my hand. I know some people think that this is so crazy, mixing foundations. I've spoken to so many makeup artists like at shoots and things, and they also mix their foundation. So I'm kind of like, okay, at least I'm not the only one. Like, I'm not the only crazy one who mixes so many different things to like create my own like concoction of foundations. But recently I've been loving these 3 together. The reason why I like these 3 together is because the Pro Glow gives me a really nice like glow and like skin like finish. This one adds a little bit of coverage, and this one I just like the way that it sits on my skin. So sometimes I'll do a mixture of 3, sometimes I'll pick and choose 2, but these are the kind of current 3 favorites that I have at the moment. I'm gonna mix all of this up on the back of my hand, and I'm gonna start popping this on to my face. And as always, just blending all of that into my skin. And I know because I've got a new camera, or I have had a new camera for quite a few months now, everything looks really yellow whenever I put a foundation on, but I promise you guys, in real life, it doesn't look like that. It's literally just the lighting. I film and edit and light all my videos all like by myself. When I hopefully find a house of my own, I'm gonna have like a company or someone come and set everything up for me so that everything is like as true to life as possible, because I don't like putting any filters on my video or anything like that. I like you guys to see what makeup looks like in real life, because you know what, I see so many pictures on Instagram and I'm like, my makeup doesn't look like that, because like everyone like face tunes their kind of makeup pictures, and I want you guys to know that real makeup does look like you've got makeup on your face, you know. But right now I'm really happy with the level of like coverage going on, and I love that my skin still looks and feels like skin, but it's got a really nice kind of like glow to it, if you know what I mean. I try not to worry too much about putting foundation underneath my eyes, because I am going to go over that area with concealer, so we don't need to worry too much about that. But I spend honestly the longest amount of time just blending this all in to my skin. I find that taking a little bit more time doing this just makes your foundation look more skin-like. Okay, so base is pretty much done. One thing that I do like doing on the days where I really need my makeup to last like all day long is I get some Urban Decay setting spray. It can either be the De-Slick one or just like the original one, but I spray this all over my face, and then I get my beauty blender and press that in. I've been doing this for a very, very long time as well, but I've been kind of skipping this step out, and I've realised just how much I love doing this. So just getting that pressed in to my face. And I know my hair is looking really messy because I haven't done anything to it this morning, so I'm going to do that at the end of the video. One thing I am going to mention is I don't like putting foundation on my eyelids, and that's because every single time I put any foundation on my eyelids, it creases. So if I am wearing eyeshadow that day, I will just go over with an eyeshadow primer. But the days where I don't want to wear any eyeshadow, I leave my eyelids like this, because it kind of gives my eyelids that look of me wearing eyeshadow without actually having to do it, because they are quite pigmented and they are a different colour to the rest of my face. And I quite like that. It's a nice little hack, if you want to say, for the lazy girls out there like me. So the next thing I would usually do would be going in with concealer, but I've actually swapped that round with cream contour. So I'm going to use my NYX cream contour palette. This is exactly like their powder palette but in cream form, and I have been loving this. I feel like I will probably wear this cream contour palette on my wedding day because it is so beautiful. I'm gonna find a brush and I'm gonna get this on to my cheeks. So I'm just taking a mixture of some of the darker colors and getting that on to my cheeks. It's quite a cool tone contour, which I personally love, but what I do is I use this as like depth, and then I warm my face up with my bronzer. So don't worry if it's looking a little bit ashy because we are going to go and fix that with some bronzer on top. I'm just putting this in the usual areas that I like to contour my face. So that is my kind of like cheekbone area and my hairline and my jawline. But I am also going to take a slight amount as a very rough nose contour. I do go over with my beauty blender on the areas where I kind of just want to make sure that it's nice and blended into the skin. Okay, so cream contour is on, and now we're going to move on to concealing. And I do this as my second step rather than doing it straight after my foundation, because before I would find that I'd put this on the areas where I'd want it to, and then as soon as I'd put the contour on, it would just make everything look too kind of like bronzed. So now I've swapped it over and I love it. So I'm just going to pop this on to the usual areas of my face, and this is actually the neutralizer shade. I find that this is a little bit more like brightening than the light shade. I love a bright light under eye. For me, that's like my thing. Like, I have to do this, otherwise I feel really weird. I kind of get this up along the sides of that contour that we made, and it's kind of looking like this before I go in and blend it out. And I use my pointy end of my beauty blender. I always start from the outside. Before I used to start from the inside, I always start from the outside and work my way in, because before I would start from the inside and I would drag the product all the way up, and instead I kind of keep it like underneath my eyes now, more so than like on the sides of my face. So it's another little thing that I've been doing quite different. And you're probably thinking, this is not blended out whatsoever. So this is the bit where I take my big round end of my beauty blender and just go over the kind of edges. And this kind of helps keep that brightness there, but blend all the edges out. I'm going to very quickly put some lip balm on because I always forget this step. And then my lips hate me for it when I put my lipstick on. Now that all of the cream products are all done, we're going to move on to powder. So there's a mixture of two powders that I use, my Beauty Bakery powder or my Charlotte Tilbury. Just because it's easier, I'm going to be using my Charlotte Tilbury powder. Again, this powder is so flipping good. This is my second or third one. I can't remember. I've lost count. But I hit pan on these so quickly because I use them all the time. But again, I think this is one of the products that I am most probably going to use on my wedding day because this keeps me like matte and it keeps my makeup put for like pretty much the whole day that I'm wearing it, and it doesn't look cakey. It just like sets everything really nicely and it looks amazing in flash photography as well. Now it's time to set the cream contour and I'm going to use none other than my Hoola bronzer. I love this bronzer. It's just a perfect mix of cool and warm and it just makes my skin look really healthy every single time I use it. The brush that I've been using to bronze with, I've been getting a lot of questions on this. It's actually a YSL brush. I don't know like the specific name of it, but it's like a really big brush, but it's quite like pinched and flat from here, so I can kind of get into any kind of pot like this, but then I can kind of lay it wherever I need it and I can kind of bronze up my skin, and it kind of does the like blending for you as well because it's so big. You kind of don't have to do much of the work. It kind of does most of the work for you. But I'm just getting this onto all the areas that I contoured. And I'm also going to get a little bit and put that on the sides of my nose very messily. And if I feel like some areas aren't as blended as others, like this area right here, I take my round end from my beauty blender and I just kind of go over. So it's nice and kind of seamless looking. The blush that I've been using a lot recently is Fetish. It's a really beautiful kind of like mauvey shade. I love mauvey shade blushes. And I'm just going to pop this onto the apples of my cheeks. And then I also kind of like put it up into my bronzer as well. So it doesn't just look like a blob of colour on my cheeks. If you guys have watched any of my recent videos, you'll know that I have been obsessed over the Kristen Leanne and Urban Decay highlight palette. It looks a little something like this. But for this video, I just wanted to switch it up and I wanted to wear something a little bit different. And I've actually had this sitting in my kind of drawer for quite a while now. This is the L'Oreal Crushed Foil Metallic Highlighter. And it looks like this. And it's so creamy. And it's just so beautiful. So I'm going to pop this on instead. And I'm going to take my favourite highlight brush ever. This is from Sephora. I'm going to get that on to the brush. And oh my god. That is so beautiful. Like that's just one like kind of little swivel in here. And oh my god. Can you guys see that? It is so pretty. With a bit of like dewy mist on top that will literally look like wet. Oh, and the other cheek as well. I can't actually quite get over how stunning this looks. I mean, it's pretty intense, but I love it. I'm just gonna chucking stuff all over the place. I'm just gonna get my bronzer brush and just kind of go over that to make sure that there's no like harsh blending going on. Wow. I really like that. I think this is around about £10 as well, maybe even less than £10, but you get a heck of a lot of product in here and it's so gorgeous. Imagine if they came out with more like shades of this. I would be all over it. I very quickly filled my brows in. I have not been able to put my Goof Proof brow pencil down by Benefit, but I wanted to give you guys a different option, something a little bit more affordable, and this is the Total Temptation Brow Definer, and this is from Maybelline, and I love it. I love the spoolie on this. It's so like chunky, if you know what I mean, but it's like short enough to make sure you're not like messing up your brows underneath when you've like got the product in there. And then one thing I have been doing just to make them look a little bit more fluffy, I take my Bravo conditioning like primer from Benefit and I put this into my brows, and I do this once they're filled in because I kind of feel like it keeps them in place and it just gives them a bit more of a kind of bushy feel, because my brows ain't bushy and I got to do as much as I can to make them look like thicker and fuller. My eyelids are all primed and set. Now I'm going to move on to using this palette first. This is the Daydream palette and it looks a little something like this. And first I took these two shades right here. They're the more kind of like lighter tones in here. And I just started putting this on to the crease. And I really wanted to build this colour up. And I wanted there to be a bit of like an orangey feel to the eye. And I'll show you exactly what I did for that. But first we're just going to build this up. Now that my crease is looking a little something like this, I actually took the shade Tahine, which is this colour right here. It's a very kind of beautiful orange shade. And I'm just taking some of that on the brush. This is the same brush that comes in the Kaleidoscope palette, which is this one here. And I'm just popping some of that on there and then running that into the crease as well. And this just kind of adds more of that orangey feel to the eye. And I kid you not, when I did my eyeshadow in the morning, I had no idea what I was doing. I wanted to go really colourful. And then I was like, I have like meetings in the day because we were actually out and about at some meetings and some launches. So I didn't want to go too crazy, but I wanted it to be still like a pop of colour. So that's why I thought adding like a bit of a pop in the crease, I thought that would be really nice. So now that I'm looking a little bit like this, I took the shade 8. So it's the darkest like matte brown shade in here. And I'm taking the other end of that same brush, which is a little bit more condensed. I'm getting that, my brush, and then I'm building that colour onto the outer corner of my eye. And I think I was at this point when I was doing my eyeshadow when I started Instagram storying. And I had so many people going, can you please do a look on your eyes? Because everyone really seemed to like it. And it's quite easy once you actually get it onto your eyes. But it's just got like pops of colour in there. So it's really nice for like the springtime. And I just really love this Kaleidoscope palette. Out of the two palettes, this is my favourite one because there's just so many amazing shades in it that I would genuinely wear a lot of the time. So yeah, if you're interested in this collection, I would definitely go for the Kaleidoscope palette and the highlight palette. The highlight palette is insane. So I've got my eyes looking a little bit crazy. I'm just taking the other end and blending the harsh lines out so that it's just nice and seamless. When I got to this stage, I was like, what am I going to do with the rest of my eyes? Like, I don't really know. Do I want to put a colour in there? Do I just want to put a shimmer in there? And then I saw this shade here, which is called Corona, and it's such a beautiful, like, tone of bronze. I was like, let me try this out. And I, like, swatched it on my hand, and I was like, I need to get this on my eyes right now. So that's what we're going to do. I'm just going to grab a brush. I'm going to really saturate my brush with the shadow, and then I'm just going to start packing this on in the inner portion of my eye. And as you can see, like, it's such a stunning shade. It looks quite dark in the pan, but once you get it onto your eyes, it's just so beautiful. So I'm just getting this on and kind of blending it into the outer darker colour as well. I definitely feel like they need to make the shade as like a single, because I would use this all the time, just like sweeped over my eyelids on like a rushed day. And one thing that I'm so happy about in this palette is that there's a black. That for me just completes any kind of smoky eye. I'm just getting this nice and saturated. I think I actually did spray my brush with some Fix Plus. I'm going to do that as well, just to make it a little bit more intense. Yeah, now I remember. I definitely did this because you can just tell from this eye and this eye that this just looks so much more creamy. Oh yeah, this is more like it. Just going to grab more of that 8 shade and just go in and just deepen that up a little bit. And I literally did this so messily in the day. And luckily these eyeshadows just blend out like a dream. So if you do get them looking a little bit blotchy, don't worry, because you can just blend it all out. It's exactly what I did. And I just have a teeny weeny bit of fallout, which I'm just going to brush to the side. And then I like taking like a clean, fluffy blending brush and just blending all those lines away. But this is basically what the top part of my eyes were looking like. And then what I wanted to do was I wanted to add a little bit more of a colour, because I was like, although I've got like the orange in the crease, I still wanted something else. So I actually took Lime Time, which is this shade right here. And what I did was I took it on a like pencil brush, and I basically just kind of popped this on all under my lash line right here. And I didn't put any kind of like eyeliner on or anything on my lash line, on my lower lash line that is. And I just kind of like smoked it all out. I am going to take a mixture of these two shades right here, just kind of like in the center. So I'm grabbing both of the shades and I'm applying that to like the inner part of the eye just to give it a bit of a lift there. And honestly, anytime I was speaking to someone, they'd be like, oh my god, your eyeshadow is so nice. Although it's quite neutral, it does have like that pop of color. And I just love the way that this turned out. But what I am going to do, just to add a little bit more depth, is I'm going to take the shade 8 on that same pencil brush. And I'm just going to add that onto the outer corners. Just so that, again, it just adds a little bit of a dimension to that part. I've just popped some lashes on. These are the Samantha lashes from Huda Beauty. These are the ones that I was wearing in the picture. And then I also put some mascara on as well. The mascara that I used is my False Lash Sculpt Mascara. And this is basically what the eyes are looking like right now. And this is the part where I go in and kind of blend any areas out that need blending and add more colour in the areas that needs it, kind of thing. Because I always find when I put my lashes on, my eyeshadow looks a lot different. And this is different for every eye shape. But I feel like whenever I put eyelashes on, my eyeshadow, doesn't matter what colour I'm wearing, all looks the same. So this is the bit where I kind of add and intensify certain areas to make them really kind of stand out. I'm going to take some of that foil highlighter from L'Oreal. I'm just going to very slightly hit that on the top part of my brow bone. I'm only kind of focusing it right at the top part because I really want that part to like stand out. So I'm kind of keeping majority of the product there and then just blending out the edges. Last but not least, it's time for lips. I'm going to take my lip balm kind of off. And the lipstick of choice I've been wearing like a lot. I want to say like for like the past couple of months, all I've been wearing is this. It's the YSL like Tatouage liquid lip. And this is in the shade number 7. And it literally is that My Lips But Better shade. I kind of put it on and it doesn't really look like I've got anything on. But it evens out the colour of my lips because they are like all different shades of lip. Like I find the lip line on my lips is a different colour from like the inner part of my lips, but I'm just getting this on all over. And what I really, really like about this is that once it is dried down, when it fades really beautifully. You don't get like any kind of dry areas and it just fades like in such a like natural way. Even if you do wear a really bright shade of this liquid lip, then it fades really beautifully and you don't feel like conscious about it. I am, however, going to pop a little bit of lip liner on. This is Sandstorm from NYX, just to kind of give that a bit more definition. Just when I thought I was at the end of this look, I realised I forgot to highlight my nose and I forgot to like intensify my little beauty mark and set my face. So we're going to do that now. I'm first going to highlight my nose. I'm going to take the same highlight. Can't find my brush. Okay, I'm just going to get a little bit onto the bridge of my nose. I'm going to take that Maybelline brow. And now it is time to set the face. And I'm going to take my NYX Dewy Finish setting spray and I'm going to pop that onto the top parts of my cheeks. And then my all-nighter all over. And this, you guys, is at the end of this makeup look. Something which is really perfect for like a bronzy spring look because you've got a pop of green in there, but you've still got a really nice kind of shimmery, smoky eye. And I just love the way that this turned out and it looked so good in pictures as well. And thank you so much for all of you guys requesting for me to film this look because I really loved wearing it. And it was a look that I did on such a whim that I kind of feel like those are like my favorite looks that I do and that you guys like. And I can't wait to do more get ready with me's. Hopefully like this summer when I have loads of like weddings and things to go to, I'm looking to do a lot more like Indian get ready with me's as well. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please do give it a thumbs up if you did and please don't forget to subscribe and hopefully I will see you guys all in my next video. Bye!